Good evening, everyone. This is Self-Same Spot, and this is Sunless Sea. In this game, you navigate a steamship through a bizarre subterranean ocean, which seems to have been formed when London sunk beneath the surface of the Earth. It's a very strange atmosphere and a rather idiosyncratic game, and I'm rather enjoying it so far. It's pretty much all experienced from this sort of top-down perspective. As you can see, we've got the big ocean here and the tiny little boat. We've got our crew up here, or at least our officers of our crew. Our character here, it's sort of RPG style. You sort of create a character. Oh, there's a jellyfish there. I want to be careful of those. They look small, but they're pretty deadly. And much of our time is spent just navigating this strange ocean. Put a light on if we want to light our way. That either helps, that prevents our crew from going insane, but also it takes up power and fuel, and also attracts creatures. I'm going to stop here at this light ship, provided I get too close to the jellyfish. Now, the main currency on this sea is stories. You trade stories with people. Let's see if anyone on this lightship wishes to trade. They long for news of home, so I can give these the crew on here some news of home. In return, they've taken away my terror, and they've given me a Z story. Oh, good, there's a story of the creatures of this sea, which is referred to as a Z. For some reason, the collapse of humanity has made everyone use the letter Z a lot more, which is fine, I suppose. You know, one of the less malevolent things that could happen. And I could purchase some fuel. Well, beggars can't be choosers. It's expensive, but I'm going to purchase some. Check my hold. As I see, I have 7 fuel and 5 hunger. Fuel is kind of more important than hunger, because if you run out of fuel, obviously you get stuck in the middle of the ocean. But if you run out of food, you just have to eat each other, which is inconvenient, but you know, not fatal. Except obviously to the meal. Can't upgrade my ship here, but you can. You see, I have an Asterion Ligeia class steamer. Nice Edgar Allan Poe reference there. This whole game is very macabre, and it has a feeling of darkness and morbid stuff. Let's go. Keep exploring the undersea world. Check our charts. I have rather an extensive chart. When you die in this, you have the choice to leave something to the next captain that comes along. In this case, I left my chart, so I've got quite a bit of info. But I want to go into the unexplored areas, so I'm heading directly south. Now, as I say, we've got our tower up here. If we get too terrified, then our men will probably have mutiny or do something stupid. Food, fuel, a little logbook down here, which gives us information on what has happened recently. And now we just continue across this strange ocean, hoping to find some trace of people to trade with. While the dripping continues in the background, the constant dripping and the sound of water, and these dark, presumably very dirty waves, sort of, you know, banking on the ship. It is a very strange atmosphere, and as I say, it's very. It speaks well to the game that it managed to evoke such a strong atmosphere just using a lot of text. And using this top-down view. Look at this place. My goodness me, what's it say? The Promised Sea. All through this place, the songs of the drownees lie shivering sweet across the wind. Along the wind. Yes, this place is strange. Is this a port? I think this is a port, yes. Those little, that little circle of light indicates this is a dock. I've not seen a dock like this, I have to say. It looks rather organic. I hope it's not run by Cthulhu's or anything. I shall That would be a shock. Let's go in and dock. Okay. The Fathom King's Hold. Lorkin's Port, named for that most enterprising of drownees. Phosphor cells burn green. Somewhere below, the king waits. The Fathom King's Hold. Like an iceberg, like a bizarre master's scheme. Only beneath itself, most of the hold is invisible. You see only a tiny portion of the sculpted corral. The rest waits below the surface. The Fathom King's bone rooms and aquaria, his pearl snares, and his dining chambers. Yes, you'll descend to an audience with the Fathom King. I don't know. Do I want to talk to royalty right now? The Fathom King is lord of the drownees, those dead who won't stop swimming. By some accounts, he's the lord of all who die at sea. Bring him a story to tickle his curiosity. I see. So the drownees are water zombies, basically. They're like Atlantis zombies. Okay, first of all, I'm going to compile a port report. Now, these reports I have been compiling in every port I go to for the Admiral back in Fallen London, which is, of course, the main port in this game. It's our hub, really. We'll be returning there at some point soon. And they will pay for information. So I'll gather a port there. Then I shall go and talk to this Fathom King fella. The porter has the skin of a shark. He has a drowned woman as eyes. It is not permitted to look at her hands. Yes, she rasps. That story is sufficient. Yes, she rasps. That story is sufficient. She opens the valves of pearl and permits you to pass into the conduit. Oh, blimey, look at this guy. This is the salt-blown heart of the hold. The Fathom King sits in his throne. A gem-starred bowl of sea stone, the size of a banqueting table. He's wearing a dressing gown of purple brocade, soaked dark with salt water. He leans his chin calmly on his hand. Beneath the surface of the water in his throne, his hidden regions pulse constantly, insistently. Yeah. Didn't really want to think about that chap's hidden regions, but if you insist, Sunless Sea, I shall go of it. I've come to plead for Zayla's life. Perhaps it's someone you know, perhaps it's someone you're thinking philanthropic. No, don't need to plead that. Watch a crocodile masked video make an offering. A body lies on a bier chamber. The crocodile masked visitor. Ask a boon of the king. Okay, I'm not going to ask a boon of the king because I don't know him well enough, and best not ask for things from powerful people, or else you shall owe them favours. Let's watch this crocodile masked visitor doing whatever he's doing. See, he's speaking of the nature of the wounds, their dramatic effect on the landscapes of the body. He sounds like he's boasting, but a single tear trickles down from beneath his mask. At last the king nods. The offering is acceptable, he says. The king begins offhandedly to outline the cartography of the deep undersea, and the patrol routes of monsters. He notices your presence and snaps his fingers. The guard ushers you out, but not before you've heard valuable deep gossip. I've got gossip, good. You have a Z story? I have 20 fragments of information, I believe, and that's all for now. Back to the valves of pearl. Permit shore leave. Should I let my sailors go ashore? I probably should. They haven't been out for ages. There we are. Captain, I think I might have slept. I know it was foolish, but my soul was soothed. I dreamt of another place beneath a sky of amethyst. I like amethyst. My skin was crusted with jewels. My claws were strong. Captain, if we pass this way again, I would ask leave to visit the hold again. Okay, that's strange, but if you say so. Right, let's go to the shops. Oh, there's no shops. Come on, what kind of a Fathom King has a place without any shops? Check my officers, they're doing okay. A few things in the hold. Okay, then let's get going. You have to say, Fathom King, you're a bit of a blowout. Let's consult our charts. Let's cut across, see what's going on in the Iron Republic. They may have something for me. For the head, men. And women, of course. My gunner up there, looking very smart in her kerchief. I have to say my mascot's looking a bit I could use a better mascot. Mostly it's immobile, occasionally it's fell. I think yeah. Well, you can speak to the officers. I haven't actually spoken to the officers before. Right, I can actually talk to it. Play of your ferret. The weary you of the eye. Play, that owl says. Play. I played once, in the happy waters of London, before you installed me in this floating coffin and made me eat dried food. Damn your play. It is an eloquent owl. Very interesting. Ah, we have found a place called Kugel's Bluff. Was it Kugel's Bluff? It's the Iron Republic anyway. Let's have a little word of them. There's all these strange civilizations that have set up down here. There's a thing called the Carnate. There's another thing which is sort of cult of half-dead people. It's most disconcerting, and I like that. Bit of pleasurable disconcerting is good for you, good of the soul. Iron Republic. Factory engines roar like false lions. Hell's client state, be wary. Their laws are not the laws of men or nature. Let's see. Ah, there's an officer I can engage. Cannoner. That sounds pretty good. Yep, 20. Captain, you looking for a gunner? You know what? I am looking for a gunner. You can come with me. Actually, before I go, I shall grab a little bit of fuel. It's actually pretty cheap here. Yeah, in fact, the fuel here is really cheap. I shall have to make a note of that. This is a cheap place for fuel. I can get a free fuel. It's not bad at all. Good on you, Iron Republic. I have to say, you know, they look intimidating, the Iron Republic, but my experience here has been pretty positive. I'm going to give these chaps a good review, you know, on whatever the website is for reviewing strange islands full of industrial contraptions. Probably Yelp. So we're off back into the dark. Let's have a look where we're going. You know what? I'm going to head home. That's it. I'm heading home. I'm going to head back to Fallen London so we can check in there and offload our any you know, stories we've picked up along the way that people there are interested in, such as that the strange people at the Admiralty. No, an odd lot at the Admiralty in London. Fallen London, that is. Discovered Adam's Doom. Poor Adam. Ah, that must be it. A lot of whirlpools around. I have not sailed into one as of yet, so I'm not sure if you're automatically destroyed or if it drags you to another dimension or another part of the map or what, but I'm not currently inclined to find out. I doubt it can be good for the ship. Sailing on through the darkness. You know what this game reminds me of? It reminds me of the part in the original movie of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory with, what's his name, Gene Wilder. That really strange bit where the boat goes through a little tunnel in the chocolate factory, and all of a sudden it all goes dark, and then there's all these funny lights and these screams, and it doesn't quite fit in with the rest of the movie, and there's something quite eerie about it. I remember finding that quite scary as a child. And this game is like that, you know, it's all in that tunnel. You know, it's this crazy, you know, crazy enclosed world, and because it's enclosed, it's both very open and expansive, but also really claustrophobic, which is an interesting balance to achieve. Right, we are on Gianotti Harbour near the Albertine Gates. I believe that this is actually the way out of the Undersea. I believe there's the gates up there. Let's have a look here. Here the dark waters run down from the surface, from a brighter sea. Ah, yes. Oh, you can actually travel to the surface. Alright. Fascinating. But you have to have lots of fuel. Interesting. I wonder if you actually go outside, or if... I imagine you don't. You probably just explore. Maybe you win the game. Maybe that's how you win, by getting the hell out of it. Let's see. Listen for surface gossip. Gather information from a port. Let's listen to gossip from the surface. You know, something interesting might have happened. Here you trade stories with suntanned surface sailors. Stories of Paris and Batavia, the Lost Fires, and the Final Isles. Yeah, interesting. jolly good. Okay, that's all for now. Gather information for a port report. Yes, gather information. Give that to the Admiralty. Let's see what these fellows have in their stores. Fuel. No, they don't want to buy anything either. I have not made much money. Let's continue up towards Fallen London. Launch. I haven't got into much combat so far, but it does happen. So I'll probably run into some kind of creature on the way up. There are odd things in the water. I've seen strange things. I saw a luminescent frog on a gigantic lily pad, and it freaked me out because I thought, well, you know, if that thing attacks me, it'll probably make me hallucinate and might make our crew kill each other or some such thing. There's awfully odd things do happen on these waters. Give us a little boost of speed and hope we don't explode. It's eerie. There's the sound of a bell. The sound design is rather good in this game as well. The sound of the dripping and the occasional noises drifting across the ocean. Quaker's Haven. Right, we are almost back to London. But we have encountered a giant crab thing. Okay, let's try and fight it. That might be difficult because we are in the fog. Ah! Well, now we've still hit it quite a bit. Go on, chaps. Now, we're reloading our guns here. I just have to click to shoot. Yes! Take that, you monstrous crab fiend. That'll learn you. Why have I stopped moving? There we go. Run into there. Now we can either dissect it for knowledge or butcher it for supplies. As we seem to be starving a tad, and I'm going to butcher the thing, get some food. There we are. Let's keep going. Sound the all clear. But if we see another one, there we are. That's another one. Let's sort it out too. Get some free crab meat. Crab meat up here, of course. Take that. Come on, crab. There. Another dead crab. There we are. More crab meat. Good, then I'll keep the wolf from the door for a while. Let's move. I'd say my boat's going a bit slowly at the moment. Perhaps the engine is damaged. It's not a very good engine anyway. I need to buy another one at some point. But I have not been too great at accruing money so far in this game. I tend to spend it on food and fuel. Perhaps I should be more conservative, but I have enjoyed wandering afar. Let's speed up a tad, go on. There we are. Yes, I think one can increase one's speed by sort of repeatedly tapping the W button. Something drifts face down. A little bit of flavour down there. Aha! Customs. Well, we have arrived in London. We definitely have. Nothing to hide. You shrug and invite them to search your ship as thoroughly as they would like. Yep, I don't have anything illegal. Nothing to hide. They leave scuff marks on the newly scrubbed decks and take great pleasure in tangling the rigging. They find nothing more dangerous than mouldy ship's biscuit. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, don't hassle me, man. Let's see, return to London. The lights of London welcome you home. Let's see. Collect messages from the harbour master. Yep, see what got messages for me. No. The only message is that someone wants to sign on. There's been a few changes here and there. Now, there's a shady character there that wants to speak to me. There's some kind of thing going on called the Labyrinth of Tigers, which appears to be some kind of travelling attraction that's in London at the moment, but I have no particular urge to visit at the moment. I'm going to go back to my lodgings and read the papers. Find out what the hell's been going on. News from home. The Echo Bazaar, that enigmatic marketplace, has increased its tax on love stories. The traitor Empress has forbidden singing in the street outside her palace. The anarchists of the Calendar Council have inexplicably dynamited a drinking fountain. The Ministry of Public Decency has located and destroyed a nest of gall-blighter wasps. Well, useful bit of information to share when I get back on the sea. Right. It's pop to London. Here we are. She's the greatest city on the Untersee, and don't you forget it. Quite right. I personally live in London, so I presume after this apocalypse, I'd probably be living down here somewhere, in that direction down there. It's probably where my house is in Fulham, London, beneath the ocean somewhere. Let's have a look here. And it would have been there as well. It's a pretty old house, you know. It's not big, but it's old. Visit the Admiralty's Survey Office. Put your ship in dry dock. Offer passage to a tomb colonist. I might do that. I might offer passage to a tomb colonist. Let's visit the Admiralty first. Imagine, oh, here we are. Got lots of information for them. First of all, let me tell you about the Iron Republic. I think you'll find that pretty interesting. He seems pretty concerned about it, actually. Honestly, there's nothing concerned about it. The Iron Republic seem like a bunch of nice guys. Their fuel's really cheap, and well, I had a lovely time. You know, 5 stars. Okay, let's go back to the Admiralty. Tell them about the Fathom King's Hold. There we are. Lots of bit of money, bit of fuel. Tell them about the Cumian Canal. See if they want to. See if they'll let me talk to a high authority. No, they won't. Okay, that's it. I have only got 39 echoes out of that. Not a great deal, but it'll have to do. And maybe there should be some more opportunities around here. I can go and cruise in Wolfstack docks. It'll cost me 10 echoes. No, I haven't got any money for carousing. Put the ship in dry dock. Okay, I'm going to offer passage to a tomb colonist. It's oddly difficult to die in Fulham, London, but when a Londoner is too tatty and wretched to live, they wrap themselves in bandages and take ship for the tomb colonies. Your crew cart these ones aboard in padded coffins. They'll sleep there until the journey is done. Very strange. There's something very underworldish about this whole place. You know, people who somehow cannot die, existing in various forms, as like water zombies and these tomb colonist fellows. Okay, let's talk to the suspicious-looking man. You. Ah, yes, he looks an honest sort. A very fine evening to you, Captain. What you might call Mentor is very fond of adventurous sea captains, and he would like to offer you what you might call a dispensation. On account of he is so fond of sea captains. Right, behind the blind bruiser on the dock stands a dray piled with fuel and supplies. Oh, I see. Yes, well, beggars can't be choosers. I think I'm going to accept this chap's offer of patronage to see if we can get any more information. He finds a very fine and liberal establishment just across the river, and is much patronised by sailors and the men of wit and vinegar. A public house, and there's no obligation to speak of. My patron hope only you might remember him kindly, and suppose that if the opportunity should arise, you should return his kindness. Yes, fair enough. What the hell? I'll take out this loan of this nice-looking fellow with his shiny knife. Damn, managed to keep that knife so clean down here. Let's have a look. Accept the dispensation. There we go. 13 fuel. Haha. Yeah, I think it's worth it. A courteous nod. Let's see. My patron hopes you find these little gifts to your liking. I do indeed. You might choose to call them here the Medusa's Head. Okay, there's a place called the Medusa's Head. That sounds nice. Might pop in there and have a milkshake at some point. I've accepted the proposal. I'm a bit suspicious now. I have lots of fuel and some supplies, so I think we are ready to sail again. Just pop to the shops. See if we can get there. I still can't afford any better guns. I would like some better guns. But I can't afford anything. I'm still pretty skint. So I'm going to buy some supplies. I'll pop to Mrs. Plenty's shipside provisioners. And buy a bit of grub. There we go. Okay, that should do us. Check out the shipyard. Look at the other boats we can get. You'll get this tiny boat. And get that same boat I've got now. This one, the Lampert class cutter. Remarkably nippy. That sounds good. I wouldn't mind having a boat that's small but fast. Yes. No, I do not have the money anyway. Oh, look at these ones. Corvette. A merchant cruiser. Oh, that's nice. If you want to really get into the mercantile thing, you can lug around crates like that. A frigate, backbone of the Royal Navy. And a dreadnought. Oh, dreadnought. Yes, that sounds like the one to go for. Dreadnought. Okay. Let's head off back into the Z. Goodbye, London. I, as ever, shall return to you. Let's check my crew. Before I had a new officer. I do. I don't know why he's, There we are. I suppose I'd better, get rid of her. See what she says. She wants to go to somewhere called Khan's Shadow. She has a little mission. East Central. You know what? I might give it a go. Let's pop to Khan's Shadow. It's given us a lead. Let's head in that direction, which is pretty much east of here. Well, that's Sunless Sea. I suppose I shall stop recording here. It's very much a game you sort of drift through, and I'm not sure how exciting that is, but I have to say I am enjoying this game a lot. I'm really getting into it. I'm going to be playing a lot more of it, I think. If you want to give it a go, I recommend it highly. It's on Steam, of course. I believe it's made by people called Fail Better Games, which is, you know, good name for a games company, especially if you make these kind of sort of almost Dark Souls games where you die a lot and come back and you have to keep building up, and you do indeed fail better next time. So I suppose I should say this is same spot. I have been playing Sunless Sea, and I wish you all out there a very good night. Oh, but something has happened. What has happened? A white sea bat. A sailor has grown fretful and disobedient, reluctant to go on deck, even in port. There's a white sea bat watching me up there. Salt's messenger. Salt's got its eye on me. I'll never see home again. Ah, I see. The Salt is one of the gods. I could feed the sea bat. Or I could kill the sea bat. Or I could tell the sailor to go below, I think. No, I'm going to feed the sea bat. See if we can win the favour of the dark god Salt. The Z-Bat takes fungal cracks from your fingers, as bold as a parrot. It dips its head to you, and chirps something you might mistake for speech. It spreads its wings, and leaps into the air. The next day your crewman is gone. Oh. Along with one of the ship's boats. No one saw him depart, or knows why. Oh, I see, he buggered off. Well, typical. Typical, you know, shoddy business, but this is what happens when you hire rubbish labour. Oh well, that's how it goes.